I am John Hopwood Jr. again, filling in for I don't know what you could call him, my protege, my mentor, John Hopwood, the future county commissioner of New Hampshire, hopefully. See, when you run unopposed, you tend to win the primary, but if I know John Hopwood, he will blow this. Somehow, some way, Mr. Unopposed will win. No, but in all seriousness, I voted yesterday, and looks like everyone's covering up. That's good. So it kind of brings me to this. Why is it the same person who goes down aisle 7 at Walmart and is like, hey man, you're going the wrong way, is out on Friday night, no mask, nothing? If you go out on Friday night in Manchester, it's basically a free-for-all. And, you get the daytime mask wearers, and then you get your nighttime non-mask wearers, and that's what's killing us. It's almost like the mask is strictly for the day. I mean, tell me what you think. If anyone sees a different point of view, I'd like to hear it. But it just seems a little alarming that nobody is wearing a mask after 8 o'clock, especially Friday and Saturday night when it's bustling down on Elm Street. I've been painting this mural downtown at Aqua Blue, or Blue Aqua. You think I should know this. And I've been kind of just keeping my ear to the grindstone and like checking out what's going on. And it's just nobody wears a mask. But then if I work in the morning, everybody's wearing a mask. Everybody's really uptight about it. And it just makes me wonder, are people doing this to save face? I guess you could say, no pun intended. Hold on, we have a call. Hello, this is John Hopwood.
Yeah, I'm only on for 10 seconds because Bill Barry's about to call in.
Okay.
And Gonzo at 3:30, Oscar Villacis, a Latin activist who's trying to raise money for a radio program, is going to be on at 3:30. Now, Bill Barry's going to call in. Have a great show.
All right. So is this Oscar? Hi, Oscar. We have Oscar on the line, the Latin activist. What are you raising money for, sir?
I got to get going because Bill Barry's going to call. Bye.
Oh, is Bill Barry a Latin activist as well? Hello, Oscar? Well, I guess Oscar didn't have much to say. I guess he's going to come down at 3:30. Though that's exciting. I've always wanted to talk to a Latin activist. And in the meantime, we will push Bill Barry's agenda as he runs for sheriff. I'm just kidding. I'm a big supporter of Bill Barry, and he could kick my butt, so I'm not going to talk any more crap. Great guy, though. Bill Barry, he's always there to save John Hopwood's butt, you know? Bill Barry, what a guy. I met his opponent, Chris Conley, I think his name was. He was on the Peter White morning show, which I famously do every Thursday until Easy G crashes the set with, but that's a different loaded story. Tune into Matt Connerton if you want to hear the whole story. But I met this guy Conley. He seems all right. You know, it's hard to separate Democrat and Republican when you are one or the other. You know, we all have opinions and we all stick to them, and we're pretty much unmovable on them. I am open to hearing any point of view, and in fact, I may vote for the incumbent for the governor this year. I think he handled himself well through this whole COVID thing, and I think he stands up to the president, which is hard to come by as a Republican governor. You see them kind of fall by the wayside or get shunned out or bullied out. But it seems like he towed the line well. Not really one for Republican policy, but hey, so far so good. He's got my vote. But the Conley Berry, that's going to be a good one. Personally, I think Bill Berry will take it. He's got that name. He's got the Alderman status. When you go and vote, you kind of you kind of vote along your party line. But even if you're up in the air, you kind of go with the name, like that Eddie Murphy movie. I think it was The Distinguished Gentleman. Vote the name you know. But I feel like a lot of people I feel like Joe Kelly Levasseur wins a lot of votes because it's the name you know. Like my father-in-law, who is a Democrat and goes on Facebook constantly and is talking all Democratic policy. He's like, "Oh yeah, I voted for Joe Kelly Levasseur." It's like, of course he did. Everybody did. So I feel like a little name recognition never hurt anyone, and Bill Berry has definitely got that name recognition. But the other guy seems like a good guy too, Chris Conley, if you want to call in. I know there's a hotbed for political activity. Oh, we have a call. This must be Chris Conley. Is this Chris Conley?
No.
No, it's not. This isn't Bill Berry either.
No.
Who would this be?
I just want to tell you, don't vote for Sununu.
Oh.
In Trump's back pocket.
Is he? See, he does a good job hiding that fact, because I try to keep my ear down, but...
He's in Trump's back pocket.
How so?
Yeah, he's got a silver spoon.
He does. He does have that mountain, right?
Yeah, he's no good. Okay?
Okay,
Thanks.
well, you heard... Well, I was going to vote for him, and now I'm not, because he's no good, but...
Okay.
I'm going to need a little more than that.
Way.
Well, hey, all right. Well, have a good night. Well, you heard it here. That's that. No more Sununu, because that lady said he's no good. Now, I can understand her point of view. But again, it's like I said before, you kind of stick with what you know. It's hard to get you off your opinion. This must be Chris Conley. How you doing, Mr. Conley?
It's Bill Berry.
Oh, Bill Berry. All right. I got him mixed up. How you doing? Congratulations on your primary victory.
Yeah. It was a lot of hard work. We were out there.
Some would say that with a 10-run rule, you kind of blew them out of the water.
As many places as we could. I went out. I met up with Jim O'Connell quite a few times. We're out in Bedford, Litchfield.
Jim O'Connell, how did he help your campaign efforts?
What's that?
That was my Jim O'Connell impression, Bill.
Oh,
No.
I didn't hear you, Mike. I'm sorry.
Well, the only way to do it is the way you just described it, right? Get out there and shake some babies and hold some hands.
Yeah. You've got to. You got to get out there. I was unopposed yesterday, so obviously I didn't have anyone running against me. So, but I still took the time to get out there and hold signs and. Say hi to people, talk to people. I went to, a few wards in Manchester, but I made sure I got out to some of the towns and with them. It's difficult. You've got, you have Manchester and Nashua. So you got Manchester that has 12 wards, and Nashua has 9. So there's 21 right there, plus 29 towns. There's 50 spots you got to try to get to, and hey, you know what? It's gonna. From now until November 3rd, I'll keep pushing and doing the best I can to hopefully get the results I want.
Well, it seems like you got a good opponent. It seems like he's got the same mentality. He seems to be out there everywhere, and wouldn't you want it you wouldn't want it any other way. You wouldn't want to lay down,
Oh God, no, God, it's just like baseball, Mike. When you'd rather play the tougher teams and be competitive. It just makes it a lot more enjoyable.
Well, it's almost like you had I was thinking it's like you all had an automatic bid to the state finals, right? And it's not like you're not gonna stop practicing and taking BP because you still get a. Yeah.
Remember some of those tournaments, the district tournaments and stuff, where there was only there was 5 teams in it, so one team already automatically had a bye, and it made it a little bit easier, especially with pitching. But in this case, honestly, I wish I would have had an opponent. It forces you to get out there and
It warms you up a little bit.
But I mean, the good thing is I've got some good people behind me, and I did get out there even without an opponent. A lot of people will sit back. A lot of people don't think they really have to get out there because they don't have an opponent and they don't have to work. But not with me.
Oh, you mean like John Hopwood?
Pardon me?
You mean like John Hopwood?
I actually ran into John quite a few times yesterday. He was out and about and holding signs for Connie Van Houten and a few others. Myself, Jim.
I'm happy for him. I hope he pulls it off. I do. I'm going to do him a favor and not endorse him because I don't want to.
You know, endorse John Hopwood?
I don't want to adversely affect him.
No, I said, hey, let's put it this way, Mike. Every little bit helps, and.
Hey, I got a question that's a little.
And that's what I tell people. It's I run into a lot of people, and a few people. I've got quite a few. Actually, I've got quite a few friends that I have no clue if they're Democrats or Republicans, and I don't really care. I mean, they are what they are. It's same with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Democrat. That doesn't change who I am, and even if I was a Republican, I'd still be the same. I would hope that it would never change. I mean, I'm the person. This is what you get, and. I'm going to continue, helping out in the community. I'm going to continue, working with law enforcement, especially, as an alderman. I've taken the time to go out and do ride-alongs with the police, ride-alongs with the fire departments, and going out and visiting the homeless camps. And that's not going to change. I'm the same guy as I'll always be. I'll still help out with the organizations, the Boys and Girls Clubs, Salvation Armies, the Hope for New Hampshire Recovery, all the treatment centers that I've been involved with. Even my daughter, like last year, I was really proud of her because her and a group of friends from Trinity took the time to raise not money, but to get clothes to donate to the homeless, and they even sponsored a luncheon where they invited all the homeless to go down to New Horizons, and they fed them lasagna and salads and dessert, and then passed out bags of clothing and personal hygiene things, and it was in candy and stuff like that. And they gave them free backpacks. So it was good. They worked really hard, and that's one of the things you want to do and instill in your child. As a parent, remember where you came from,
Yeah, I had my 1-year-old out there passing out candy. It didn't go so well, but but Bill, I'll tell you.
You wait, Mike. People told me it's gonna go by fast, and it actually did. My daughter's
it's crazy to think that.
At Bryant University, she's doing well.
Nice.
We miss her, but you know what? She's in the right place, and we're very proud of her, and we're gonna. That's what you do as parents.
And what's her name? What's her name?
Lauren.
Well, shout out to Lauren. Keep it up, Lauren. Good job. Keep the good work. Yeah. The Billberry I know. See, it's funny because the Billberry I know for 25 plus years had nothing to do with political at all. I mean, I didn't even know you were an alderman until like 4 years ago.
well, it's funny, Mike, because when I first started out, like after I graduated from college, when I was 19 years old, was when I first coached. I coached Pony League baseball with Danny O'Neill. Danny O'Neill was looking for an assistant coach, and I started up with him. But one of the things that I did, because growing up in Manchester, I played football, basketball, and baseball. I played CYO, Pop Warner football. I played Central Little League, Pony League, Coat League, Legion, and high school and stuff. But what I did was, and I made up of it, is every single league that I've ever played in, I ended up coaching in just to give back, and I wanted to make sure that I did coach in every one of those leagues. And I did others, I coached in Babe Ruth. I didn't play Babe Ruth when I was growing up, but I ended up coaching Babe Ruth. So it means a lot, to make sure kids, get out there and you work with the kids. And I never did it for political gain because back then I had no clue that I was going to get involved with politics, and it was only after
Yeah, if you did, you probably would have
I
acted
left the
different.
sheriff's office in 2011 that I ran for alderman in 2013. You know, my wife said, "What, are you crazy?" And but you know what? It's been great. The people in Ward 10 are awesome. I always look forward to helping them out. And I get phone calls or emails on a daily basis. And you know what? Every concern that they have, it may be small to a lot of people, but it's big to them. You know, they want something done, and they want it done right away. And some of them feel guilty about even calling. And I have to tell them, say, hey, you know, don't feel guilty. That's what it's all about. And so I think, and I'm proud of myself. I do a good job, and I get the job done. As soon as I get a phone call or email with a concern, I'll take care of it right away.
I can see that, and like I said, if you did know you were going to be throwing your hat into the political ring, you probably wouldn't have been so fired up in Babe Ruth, because you were definitely intense. You did not half-ass it. You definitely didn't go through the motions. You were there to win, but most importantly, to guide these young gentlemen. And when you're 13, like I remember back, just looking at that group of coaches, you don't really think about the little arm around the shoulder, walk in the outfield stuff. You don't think about that stuff until you're about 19, 20, and when it's all gone. When it's all gone, you start to remember that talk.
I'll give you a quick story. Ronnie Bouchard was my football coach. I played for the East Blue Devils back when I was growing up, and he was one of the toughest coaches I've ever had. Mean, you know, grab you by the face mask, give you a good boot when he needed to. But you know what? When you grow up, when you get older, you start thinking back as, you know what? There's a reason for everything they did. And I'll tell you, you talk about toughing you up. I mean, that was it. And we didn't have parents that complained about it. We listened to the coaches, we respected the coaches, and we respected law enforcement, we respected authority. And unfortunately, I think some of that is lost. In these days, and I've said it. Some kids they don't. It starts at home. They don't respect their parents. They don't respect their teachers. They don't respect coaches. They don't respect anyone in authority. And it's unfortunate because it's just a sad thing. Yeah.
Well, it's good though that they might not respect all these people, but then a Pat O'Neill comes along and he has that unorthodox way of getting through to someone where 9 out of 10 times it's not going to be an approachable way. Like in fact, it might be, ho hum about the way it is, but he might startle you. You might gain that kid's respect that way, and it's like, maybe that kid just needs somebody, and he's so thirsty for it, and like big brother and dad and stepdad, they're just not giving him that. But a Pat O'Neill will give you the time, and he'll show up, and he'll show up.
Absolutely.
And that's it. Like eventually, the guy wants to write off the coach, but he won't.
I was coaching West football, helping out last year, and with Buzzy Bezoin. And one of the things that happened, actually there's a couple of things, but one of them that stands out is there was a kid that, he was definitely, rough. He's a rough kid, rough upbringing, and he gets into the game, and it took him a few weeks to get into a game because he had to work on his grades and so on. Well, anyways, he makes a tackle, and this kid was tough. He made a tackle, and he stood over the guy, like in your face type of thing. And so I pulled him off the field, and I talked to him. I said, hey, listen, instead of standing over him and acting like a tough guy, I said, put your hand out, reach out, and help him up. You know what? You can have another shot, but have, be a good sportsman. You don't have to be a jerk about things. And you know what? He got it, and in the rest of the time, he was one of had the most sportsmanship.
Yeah, that goes a long way too. You got to be smart. You can get away with a lot more if you're on the good side. And also, what stings more than getting knocked on your butt and having someone help you up? So it's like you get.
Absolutely, and that's what I took. That's what I was hoping he was going to get. He was going to get it, and he actually did. I mean, he ended up being such a nice. Well, and they're all nice kids. But you're right. Some of them, who knows what the heck goes on behind closed doors when they get out of that practice. I mean, a lot of these kids are showing up to practice, And Buzzy does an unbelievable job over at West because during the summer months when it's really hot out and everything, they'll have practice, and after practice, he'll feed the kids. And for some of the kids, that's their only meal.
It really is.
That's their only meal of the day. And he goes out of his way. He's one, I'll tell you. I thought I was doing a good job with kids, and then when you see other coaches, the way they work the kids and stuff, it's certainly impressive.
And from an outside view, it doesn't appear that way, but man, they just learned it. They go through experience, and it's like there's a reason why. He knows that there's 7 cups, 14 pairs of cleats, 3 mouth guards. Like, he accumulates these things because he knows that sometimes the kids aren't going to have that. And the parents come and they're like, that coach ain't nothing. You don't need to listen to coach. And, like, that's unfortunate. That's a really tough part. Like, coaching East Cobras football is a very, very diverse location in Manchester. And, we go up there with 13, 14 kids, and it's hard. You miss one kid, whether he's an 8-play kid or not. You need them, and it really starts with the parents. And I feel like the parents and the coaches, if they can just kind of sit down, you don't have to have a beer. You can have a Coke. You can have, a conversation. And I feel like opening up the dialogue is so important, especially in coaching, because a lot of parents think they know everything, but they don't really know everything,
I'll tell you, Mike. Back actually, when my daughter was born in 2002, and so I took that summer off. I didn't coach, and then the following year, Pat O'Neill. Speaking of Pat O'Neill and Phil Sapienza. I'll tell you, you just, and there's other ones, Mickey Hannigan and Colin Burke.
They're the Mount Rushmore, right there.
All those guys. They've always given so much time into coaching and back into the community. But anyways, Pat O'Neill calls me. He says, "Hey, you want to, you're available to coach this summer?" He was going to coach Central Little League, and that's where I actually started out. I started out at Central Little League. I said, "Sure." So, my daughter was 1 at the time, so I went down to Central Little League. Mike, these kids. I mean, Pat, when he picked the team, I wasn't there when he picked the team, but I called it the UN team. It was the United Nations. There was kids from Bosnia, all these all kinds of countries. They all lived in the inner city and stuff. Well, some of them, most of them didn't even know what a baseball was. We started from scratch with these kids. They didn't have cleats, they didn't have gloves, they didn't have things that they needed to practice and stuff. So I went down to Indian Head. And you can ask Don York. I went down there and I outfitted every single kid that needed a glove or needed cleats. We made sure that we went down there and we took care of them and we got them the cleats. We got them everything that they needed to be part of the team. Well, and you know how Pat works. Every kid plays. If you don't start today, you're going to start the next game. And it doesn't matter if you're the stud on the team or if you're mediocre. It absolutely doesn't matter. Yeah. So these kids, we had a terrible season. Record-wise. The kids, we practiced a lot. The kids learned a lot. They improved and improved and improved. Well, you know what? We went into the playoffs, Mike. We won the league championship.
Yeah, that sounds like Pat, like taking on something like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely. But you know what? It just makes it so much fun to bring kids that really don't even know the game, but they're out there. They're outside. They're not in their home. They're not playing video games. They're out there. They're working hard. And if you play for Pat or myself or Phil Sapienza, if you play for any of us, you're going to work. You're going to, there's going to be some running involved.
I was like running in baseball. What is?
You're going to do what you need to do, and there's a lot of discipline. And you know that, Mike.
Yeah.
You went through it.
Yeah, sometimes I wish I didn't make the All-Star team. I was like, oh my God, this is baseball. We shouldn't be running like this.
But that's how it is. You have to be a good coach. You have to enforce discipline.
You got to have that 20 in your pocket for Taco Bell. You have to. Hey, Bill, we have a guest, Oscar, here. He's a Latino activist that John set me up with. Why don't you say hi to Oscar? This is Bill. He's a current alderman in Manchester, and he's running for sheriff.
How you doing? Is this Bill Berry?
Buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who Bill Berry is?
Yeah, I heard about him. Okay. How you doing today, sir?
Yeah. Well, you're in great company, buddy.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Well, Bill, I appreciate you calling in. I'm sure you call in like, oh, I'll fill in this time, but then we get talking, and it goes by real quick.
I love it. I love it, Mike,
good
and
stuff.
especially if we're talking about kids and the community, and that makes it worthwhile. So listen,
way better than John Hopwood. Tell you that.
Do the right thing and keep giving back to the community. It's worth it.
Hey,
right?
I'm not rich, Bill, but I can do this stuff.
That a baby. It doesn't cost a dime to help.
All right, I love you, buddy. Keep it up, and good luck.
Man.
Yeah.
All
Bill,
right, we'll see you, bud.
Bill Barry, I hate to show my favoritism, but he is one of my favorite people out there. He's a decorated sheriff. But John said you were going to come in, and I appreciate it because I was kind of treading water here on my own, talking about masks and all that stuff. Yeah. But what do you think about that? I saw you come in with a mask now. Have you ever been out on a Friday night in Manchester?
No, I haven't, no.
If you've been on a Friday or Saturday night, you'll see that it's like it doesn't exist. It's like
I know.
Ignoring
Actually, I'm from Nashua, and I was.
It's a little unfortunate.
I was out and about in Nashua, and didn't feel like it existed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a respect thing. In my opinion, you wear it. If you don't want to wear it in your privacy, don't. But you don't know if you're coming to nobody knows really what's going on. But it is weird out there. The same exact, in my opinion, the same people who are giving you crap about going down aisle 7 the wrong way are literally yelling over each other at a bar, being hypocrites. So, just either mask up or don't pretend. A lot of people just wear it just to not get grief from people, I feel like. And there's times where I'll forget my mask and I'll go back to the car, and I'm asking myself, could I just go in and get this done? Probably, if I'm quick, I'm aware, but I don't want people to see me without it either. So I'm kind of guilty of that too.
Right. Have you gotten tested or?
I haven't. My son is 1 year old, and he got sick for about 3 or 4 days. We couldn't figure out. And the doctor's like, do you want to have a COVID test on him? I was like, well, hey, when in Rome. So, I held him down, and he did the swab, and he came back negative. And to me, that was kind of like...
If he doesn't have it, then...
Yeah, I spend, so much time in his face, kissing him and just sharing fluid. You know what I mean? Like, he breastfeeds, he's like, I'm kissing my wife. Like, we're in it. So, that was kind of my excuse not to get it, to be honest. Should we all get it? Yes. And I would think that's why you're seeing when people go to college now, like the University of Alabama, 1,000 incoming students had COVID. Jesus. Now, why was that 1,000? Because they were being tested, I think. So, is there a good chance that me, you, him, someone, you take 10 people and put them in a ring, chances are someone's going to have it. They just don't know it. So I think if we did get more, and that's Trump's big thing, well, nobody else is testing. It's not fair. We should know where we're at. Information is key.
Right.
So what if the numbers are inflated? At least we know where to go.
Yeah.
We're not just hiding it. So, no, I haven't been tested. I would. I have no problem getting tested. In fact, someone offered it to me right now. I'd take it.
Yeah. I wasn't feeling good like 2 weeks ago. About a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I had a fever. I want to I got tested.
Now, why was that so important? Because you want to be, not for you, for your family.
To get tested?
Yeah, you want to.
Well, I want to know if, like, God forbid, if, like, I think we're playing Russian roulette, man. Yeah. I think we're out there and we're just, like, we're being selfish. Like, I just got back from Block Island, and it was just a bunch of people not wearing masks, and I was trying to keep my distance, and you didn't feel like it was a pandemic over there.
No, it's like ignorance is bliss. You know what I mean? People don't want to know, so they don't know.
Yeah, or I think, or some people are just afraid to know.
They're afraid to know, and they're afraid of what they'll lose.
Exactly.
Like, they'll lose their privileges. Like, if I got tested and I came back positive, obviously, I'm not going to be able to speak to the 22 people that are watching right now. Right. I see you guys. But selfishly, I was like, oh, my son got tested. Is that a legitimate? I think it personally. If he was positive, I would be positive. But is it an excuse? Am I being selfish? Absolutely, I'm being selfish. I think it's big of you to admit that too. Like, we are all selfish because we don't really want to admit what the hell is going on, man,
Right.
and what we have to lose.
Mhm.
And it's like you didn't do anything wrong, but you're the guy with COVID now.
Mhm.
Now you don't want to be. No one wants anything
You're
to
not
do with you.
approachable anymore.
Not approachable. No one's calling you for going golfing.
Yeah.
No one even wants to talk to you over the phone. They think it'll come through the phone.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone's worried about. It's like an STD. Hey, you deserve that. You went in there unprotected with a nasty girl, whatever you did. You deserve that, I guess, in a way. Whatever. But this, you're walking down the mall. You take a right at Spencer's. Someone sneezes from way over there. It flies in the air and it lands on the corner of your eye. Now you get tested, and then you're a leper to society now. And that's what goes through the head. You ever see someone cough in public?
Yeah.
They're like, it's just a cold. Well, how do you know, bro?
Right.
You don't know that, bro. Like,
Yeah.
go to Rite Aid, get tested, you know. If I could say, hey, everyone get tested, sure, let's all get tested.
Right.
But that's not going to happen. Just like no one's going to stop going to Panucci's and getting Jaeger bombs. You know, it's a tough one. It's a tough one for bar people because they're not getting any money either.
Right.
And they'll shut you the hell down. They will close your doors.
Yeah.
You know, so what do you do? I mean, are you a business owner or anything? Do you have any stake in the game?
Yeah. I have in the textile industry. I have my own clothing brand.
Okay, so this is impacting you then.
Oh yeah.
Is it
When
brick
this
and, brick and mortar?
No, it was e-commerce. So when this first started, we were able to have a fundraiser and partnerships with some partners that had importing and exporting licenses that were able to partner up with manufacturers overseas to get us PPE. So we donated PPE to first responders, the hospitals, and all that.
PPE, is that the bailout program?
No, PPE is protective, personal protective equipment.
Okay,
Mask, N95 mask, certified N95s when there was a shortage.
It's good for you.
So we ended up donating to all the police department, the whole police department, and fire department, and nursing homes and hospitals.
That's nice of you. Did you find that a lot of people were reluctant at first to wear a mask because it is saying you go back 1 year ago, put a mask on.
Are these cameras on?
Yeah,
Oh, we're live right now.
we're live right now. Yeah, that's you. See,
Okay.
you want to start over?
No.
Too late.
No. When I first reached out to some of these hospitals, to get the nurses and the clinics and the hospitals to approve of the PPE, even though we had a certification and FDA approved, we had a director reach out directly. I'm not gonna say any names or what hospital, and they were like, "We appreciate all your efforts and we love what you're doing. Let's set something up. Like, what's the quantity? What's the price?" And even though at the time everybody was taking advantage, they were they were charging about $6 to $7 for a surgical mask, when in reality it only takes about 50 cents to $1 to make. What we wanted to do is we wanted to go back to our manufacturer partners and say, listen, this is a time of crisis.
Yeah.
And where's the humanity on jacking up the prices when this is a life or death situation? So what we did is we made sure that we kept the prices as low as possible. When we reached out to the representatives from the hospital, these guys didn't want to tap into their hospital money. They were waiting for the relief from the government, because tapping into their money directly was going to impact their bonus at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to tap into the money until the relief checks came in. And then all of a sudden they started writing emails back to our representative saying, excuse me, if you guys are willing to donate, by all means. And here I'm thinking, I'm not a millionaire. I'm just an average Joe trying to help my community, trying to help our first responders.
Yeah.
These guys are $1 billion corporation, a hospital that have the resources and funds for this. Why aren't they reaching out, digging into their pockets, and protecting their staff in these times? So they were basically asking for handouts from average people that were doing fundraisers in a time of crisis when people were losing their jobs, the country was at a standstill, and there was no opportunity to dig into our pockets because we were surviving. We couldn't even get toilet paper.
And you know what? It's you people that still are the ones that donate. It's the people that are haggard. Like, I'm not a millionaire. You are. But you know what? I'm going to say no now, and then I'm going to go home, and then I'm going to talk to my wife, then I'm going to go to sleep, and I'm going to wake up and be like, I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to donate these things. And it's like, they almost pull at the heartstrings of, I'm saying.
I'm a middle class.
Say they
blue collar.
They exploit the, they exploit people's generosity. Generosity can be a fickle beast. It really can be accepted or it can be exploited.
I'm just an average Joe, just like yourself, man. We're surviving. We're trying to reach out and make a difference. I don't like the fact that there's corporate companies out there that have the resources to protect their own internal clients and customers and people.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we're starting to build fundraisers to help the people that are helping us from the bottom, while these fat cats up top are saying, I got $5, I know you need one, but then I'm out of $5, I only have 4.
Yeah.
But you have 50 cents. Because we weren't making, let me be clear, when this all started and the purchases of the mask, I made 0 profits out of that. 0. Like, we were buying it at cost, that we were negotiating back and forth with many manufacturers overseas to make sure that they followed the guideline FDA approved, which we have the certificates, and make sure that the nurses and the first responders were getting it firsthand. And the cost that we were putting it at is directly the cost to pay the manufacturer at 0 profit. So
yeah. And I believe that, and I'm sure you stepped up because you're like, well, this is kind of what I do. There's a need.
Yeah.
Let me see what I can do. And then you just get disheveled and discouraged at the process, and like, bro, like, come on. You can't do any good around here anymore without a buck. It's all about the buck.
Well, you damned if you do, if you damn if you don't.
You are, and if you're an employee of this hospital, this said hospital, and your guys don't got your back, and you're in there, you're doing some bull crap hours. You're just you're putting your own daughter in risk. You're putting your own family in risk, and you don't have the back of your head guy. That's going to be discouraging. Like,
well, secretly they're blaming you because they're like, well, we don't know where these masks are coming from, even though you have their certificate.
And electives are off the table for now. There's no knee adjustments anymore.
We're waiting for our government to kind of back us and get it directly, even though they're kind of trying to shut this down quietly.
But, yeah, and in the meantime, we're going to have, we're going to have people like that don't need the money go and get that $6 million from the government. Like, why is TGI Fridays getting bailout money or government money? Why is, I don't know the specifics of Kanye West, but he seems like he has money. He's on E, But why are people getting these millions of dollars in assistance and then what happened? What happened in 3 weeks? Dried up, right? Just gone. No money anymore. So you can't get that loan anymore. Oh, you missed that window though. Go to YouTube. All you see is headline: free money, free money. Same thing with that $600 a week. Anybody and everybody could get it. They did, and now
$1,200 stimulus.
And now
check.
the people who need it, they've gone 5 weeks without. They're getting like $110 a week. When they say what you want, $760 is a little excessive, but if done right, it could be put away right. Like they need it now. So when you go 10 weeks on 760 over and over, 10 weeks, maybe you sign up to your daughter to dance class like you never normally would. But then, boom, it's gone. It's gone. And then you get, it's that whole alimony thing. Like
Right.
You leave your wife, she gets to stay at the same level. Like you get used to a certain 760, and to me, it should have been maybe brought down to 3 right away, because now it's 300 on top starting tomorrow. I think New Hampshire's issuing back pay starting August 1st. So there's going to be people getting some money, and but man, there was a lull. There was a definite lull where people went from 800 to nothing, and it just seems like there's not really much compassion for them. I understand the point of view. Well, go work then. I get it. And some people aren't as comfortable as other people as going out in public right now. Like my mother-in-law won't leave the house. She's frightened. I feel like she greets me at the door with a thermometer every time I come home. And that's her. That's her anxiety. She lives with it. That's her. Other people will go and they'll pick donuts out of the bakery with their bare hands. Like the other people aren't concerned. So you got to respect the people who don't feel comfortable to a point. You can't just say, okay, we're open up now, but we don't know. Like first day of school is today. What do you feel about that? Like teachers are there teaching, just like it was like me talking to a classroom. They're all at home. Personally, I think it's a good idea until we know what the hell's going on.
Absolutely.
We don't know what's going on. In 10 years, if we look back at this time, we're going to know one thing. We're alive because, put it this way, if the sun was automatically, tomorrow, if the sun was 350 degrees every time you walked outside, would people go outside?
Absolutely not.
They'd stay home, right, till they figure it out?
Mm-hmm.
Until they know how to get the sun back down to 75 degrees? So it's kind of like that. That's the way I look at it, But this is a tricky disease because it's like
Well, the problem is like
the smartest disease that I've ever seen.
The problem is right now is that there's a lot of ignorance, and the ignorance is fueled by hate, and a lot of people don't know what they don't know, and you have the young kids that are in fear, but their FOMO, the fear of missing out, is more enticing.
Pressure too.
The pressure, of I'm in my youth, I'll beat it.
And you get chastised for not being part of that. Like just watching an 11-year-old at my niece, like she has to be part of it. She's got FOMO to the max.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, and that can be dismissed by a lot of adults, but no, that's their world. Like that's the most important thing in the world to her at that time. So it is hard to relate to that, but you're right. That FOMO, I never thought of that angle.
Mm-hmm. And to to try to explain to somebody that suffers from mental health, whether it's anxiety or depression, no, don't go out today. Don't go out any day until you see that everything's okay out in the world, and try to push through your thoughts that you've been dealing with before this whole pandemic.
Yeah.
And you know what? Point. As a matter of fact, why don't you just don't think at all? And you're worrying about not knowing. The government's not quite sure, but they're telling you it's a hoax. And then the other people are telling you, well, it's the scariest thing we've ever been through. Wear your mask, wash your vegetables, don't grab your groceries without gloves. Don't touch that cart. Don't touch that door. Don't sneeze too loud. you're constantly in your thoughts, you're constantly in your mind, and you're trying to push just to try to survive with your own self-guilt and doubt internally. But then you have the government, you're kind of in a limbo. You're between a wall and a rock. So what do? Do you go with your instinct? Do you say, you know what, I'm going to push through my thoughts. I can't live like this, because if I'm stuck inside, I'm dead. Mentally and physically, I'm dead.
And how many people say that? I'd rather die than I'd rather get COVID than never didn't live as a free.
People
now you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
People are talking about people. See, the problem is that the media they put COVID deaths at the beginning of this whole pandemic. They were like, oh, look at the death. Look at the death rates in all these cities, and New York is a pandemic, and don't go outside, and the streets were completely deserted, right?
Yeah. Yes.
What they should have done for learning purposes and to see what's really going on with the mental health situation in the United States is they should have put COVID deaths and they should have put suicide. And then that's how you awaken the country to say, well, we seriously have a problem here. And we need to inform the public because our suicide rates are increasing just as fast as COVID.
Right. Because there's this, say I'm suffering from suicidal thoughts, right? Mm-hmm. And then this hits. You think that's going to get better?
Absolutely not.
Jesus. It's like, you get your world, then you get this, and it's like, and you're right, it was a ghost town. It's almost like if the sky was just going and swirling all around, it would probably be better because people would have an actual concrete evidence that stuff is going down. Mm-hmm. But when you go and you're sticking to your guns, you're not going out, you're not going to, to see that girl you've been flirting with. You're not going to go hang out with your buddy. You're the one. You're the rock. And then you go to pick up, a prescription. You drive to, down Elm Street and you just see normalcy. You see a band playing. You see a couple making out. You see a cigarette on the corner. You see the norm. And you're like, well, what the heck am I doing all this for? So you can get, lulled back into that. Mm. But the true rock sticks to his convictions,
Let me ask you something. When you see me, right, you probably think perception. You probably think, wow, this kid's, he's got a radio show. He's reaching out to his public. He's helped his community with PPE. He pretty much has it all together. But in reality, I physically battle with anxiety and some depression. And I myself had to deal with this whole pandemic at the beginning of not knowing, and my anxiety was off the roof. And I had a father, my father's in a nursing home, 94 years old, that was battling COVID. And thankfully he beat it. And I'm the head of my family. Like my siblings, my mother, they all depend on me to keep myself upright, to make sure that I can take care of everybody else, whether it's financially or whether it's motivating them to be somebody that is reassuring that everything's going to be okay. So if I don't have it together, then everything underneath me crumbles. That's a lot of pressure. Now imagine you're having your grandmother have a heart attack, doesn't know English, and you have to wheel her through the emergency room, that you've been her translator all your life. And you can't go into the hospital to translate to her and to reassure her that everything's going to be okay, and make sure you're praying to God that she doesn't catch COVID while she's in there.
And she doesn't know she don't know what no one's saying either.
And she doesn't know what's going on.
And you know that.
And I can't be next to her.
That's your guilt in there.
Exactly. So I have family members that I have more than a handful of family members that have passed away from COVID in South America, here in the United States. My dad battling with it, all the way around, and it's.
See, I think that's important that you remind people of that, because people are like, "Who do you know that died of COVID?" You got your handful of people that you could just rattle up, say their names, man. They'd be like, "Yo, this is not a joke,"
right.
And on the surface, yeah, I absolutely. You got it together. You seem well put together, and you seem like confident and all that. But you opening up about that transparency. That's a sweet quality that not many people will will say that. And it's true. It's like if you crack, I always said this is a weird example, but when this stuff was going down, those first couple of weeks, when you said that it was dead out there, no one out there, I said if Walmart closes, get your guns and lock your door, because the looting and the rioting, the day Walmart closes, so that's people's rock. That's their point. Because if Walmart's going down, bro, then we're screwed. You're the Walmart of your family. You're the guy that if Oscar cracks, oh boy, that's a ton of pressure on Walmart. To be honest,
and I was cracking
ton
privately.
Of pressure on you.
I was cracking privately. Honestly, I was cracking privately because we're like, what do we do? Should we start getting our finances ready? Should we start? I was going to the point where I was like, who do I know that are pilot friends that in case of something breaking out, I can just drive to the quick airport and pay just to get out of here. Like, so many thoughts. When you have anxiety, your door your mind is a mall that's open 24/7, and your thoughts are customers coming constantly and just you can't shut that door, right? It's like a CVS, constantly open 24/7, thoughts in and out. And what you're doing is you're turning on the television.
Oh, just turn them off, Oscar. Just turn them off. Don't you love that advice?
You turn on the television to try to stay informed, but all that information that is coming through is just scary. And is it accurate? And you're entrusting the people above to tell you that everything's gonna be okay, but we're still waiting for those news, and it's not coming. So who do we have to blame? Who do we call? The cops.
I was gonna ask you that.
The cops are killing people like me, and blacks and browns. The cops are killing us. You were talking about a 911 call earlier. I don't even have that luxury of feeling safe and calling 911. You know what I'm saying? I can't trust my government because I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, in the 80s and 90s, where the crack epidemic was booming, and I couldn't have that luxury of calling 911 because I fit the description of a young punk that was breaking into a house or cars. You know what I'm saying? So if we can't trust our government, if we can't trust our law enforcement, and they're telling us that there's a vaccine that's going to come out, but if you look at the news, what's happening in Africa right now with the polio vaccine and how it infected about 2,000 kids in Ghana, who can we trust?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. If you're married, or do you have that person that you can, no matter what, balls to the wall, that's your go-to.
Oh,
your
absolutely.
Call. You have that.
I am married. Yeah, I am married. My wife.
It's so key. Right? Like I'm married as well, and like when S hits the fan, like that comfort, that right there, just having that teammate. That. So we're lucky to have that, and there's a lot of people that don't have that.
Absolutely.
A lot of pressure on a lot of family heads of family.
Right.
We're getting ready to wrap it up. You live in Nashville, you said?
I live in Nashville, yep.
What's the difference between Manchester and Nashville right now?
The difference between Manchester and Nashville right now, I think that there's a lot of great movements on the rise in Manchester. I think that Manchester within the Queen City, I think that properties and development is on the rise. I think that there could be an opportunity within, homeless.
It seems like Nashville is just catapulted. And I love Manchester. I never thought I'd say it, but Nashville's kind of turning the corner on Manchester.
Yeah, I think that Nashville has. I mean, I have a lot of friends that have nonprofits I've been involved in a lot of nonprofits, but I think that the expression within the people in the community, and the involvement within the people that are in charge of that community, and the connectivity is important. And I think that Nashua is holding it down. I think we have a great mayor that is connecting, and doing his due diligence to make sure that he's staying connected.
And who
with
is
the
that
people.
again?
Mayor Jim Donches.
Shout out.
Shout out to him. And I think that there's a lot of self-expression between the arts, because that's another.
I've noticed that the street art, the legal street art
Yeah.
scene is taken away from the graffiti.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you see, so if you don't condemn for the artist within us, and you empower the artist within us, and with permission, of course, and you embody that sense of creativity that grows, that encourages everybody around you to say, wow, this is amazing, and I think I can tap into something amazing within myself to contribute to the community, and that is key.
See that, Mayor Craig? We need a B-dub wall.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
We're going to keep this conversation going on
Sure.
Matt Connerton.
Absolutely.
So all you guys, because this was live right now on channel 23 in Manchester.
Nice.
So tune into channel 97, and then Norm's coming up next. He's a psychic. I bet he didn't see that coming. The new Norm. I call him the new Norm. You get it?
Hi, how you doing?
But
Do another hour?
no, I'm gonna go do talk to Matt downstairs. But
Okay. How about you?
Do another hour?
Sure. You want to chat with me?
Sure.
All right.
all right, we're gonna wrap it up. And listen, be nice, so, and buy some ice cream for someone.
Catch me on